Okay, so we've just had a look at where this rule comes from, but a quick recap. If the value of r is between -1 and 1, then the sum of a geometric sequence of the form Tn equals ar to the n minus 1 will converge, or get closer and closer to the limiting sum, which is T1 on 1 minus r. So the real advantage of this formula is we only need T1 and 1 minus r. Let's have a look at writing 0.8 recurring as a rational number. So first of all, we need to think about what 0.8 recurring is, and that is 0.8888 and so on with an infinite number of 8s. That's actually 8 tenths plus 8 hundredths plus 8 thousandths and so on. We can see that T1 equals 8 tenths. We can see that r equals 1/10. If you're not sure of that, then you can check by going 8 divided by 1,000 divided by 8 divided by 100, which will be 8 on 1,000 times 100 on 8. The 8's cancel, 2 factors of 10 cancel, and we're left with a ratio of 1 on 10. So from there we can use the formula. We know that the limiting sum is going to be, or the sum to infinity is going to be 8 tenths divided by 1 minus 1/10, which is 8 tenths divided by 1 minus 1/10 is 10 tenths minus 1/10, which is 9 tenths, which is going to be 8 tenths times 10 on 9. The 10's cancel and we're left with 8 on 9. So that tells us that 0.8 recurring equals 8 on 9. With this next example, we've got write 0.356 recurring as a rational number. So first of all, 0.356 recurring is 0.356, 356, 356, and so on, which is 356. This is tenths, hundredths, thousandths, plus 356 millionths for this next one, and 356,000 millionths. All right, and you can see that the position of the decimal matches the number of zeros. So this 356 down here has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 zeros in the decimal. Okay. All right, so from there we can see that T1 equals 356 on 1,000. We can see that this denominator is increasing by a factor of 1,000 each time, so that means that our R is 1 on 1,000. If you can't see that just by looking at it, then you just do T3 divided by T2 and so on, and that will give you whatever R is. So just the same way we did it back up here, you can check R using that method. Just if you are going to eyeball it, just be careful that you're eyeballing it correctly. Alright, so that means that the sum to infinity is T1 on 1 minus R, which is 356 1,000ths, divided by 1 minus 1 on 1,000. 1 minus 1 on 1,000 is 1,000 thousandths minus 1,000th, so that's going to be 999 1,000ths. So this will be 356 on 1,000 times 1,000 on 999. The thousands cancel and we're left with 356 on 999. Therefore, 0.356 recurring is 356 on 999. Now, if you could cancel them, you perhaps would. We've only got a factor of 3 in the denominator, and then there's no factor of 3 in the numerator, so we can just leave it at that. That's fine.